I have been part of deep space salvage for 12 years. My crew specializes in recovering derelict ships and lost cargo drifting at the outer edges of known star systems. But nothing prepared us for what we found beyond the mapped universe. We were 3 months into an extended run when our scanners picked up something small, drifting alone in intergalactic space. No nearby systems, no debris field, no gravitational anchor, just a single metallic object reflecting faint starlight. It was the size of a small crate, with no visible propulsion and no markings from any manufacturer, human or otherwise. Its surface was flawless, except for a narrow seam running around its edges. We brought it aboard for inspection. The moment it crossed the airlock, our ship's clocks froze for 2 full seconds. Not just the control panels, our wristwatches too. Even my own perception of time stuttered. The box opened without force. Inside was a cylinder etched with symbols none of our translation programs could identify. Next to it was a thin slab with a surface like liquid glass. When touched, it activated, displaying a list of entries. Each one was labeled with a date, location, and brief description. The first entry described our current mission in disturbing accuracy, down to the exact cargo we had collected 2 weeks ago. The second predicted our ship breaking apart in open space. The date was 3 days away. We read further. The third entry described my crewmate Ryan being found adrift in his suit. The fourth recorded our AI sending a distress call that was never received. The fifth was short. No survivors. Ryan wanted to destroy the device immediately. I insisted we log everything first. But as I scrolled down, I realized the list continued far beyond our lifetimes. The final entry was dated thousands of years ahead. It described a vast dark structure spanning the space between 2 galaxies, with no stars visible beyond it. That night, I woke to an unnatural quiet. The lights dimmed without warning, and my cabin door slid open on its own. The black box sat in the hallway, even though we had sealed it in the containment bay. When I looked inside, the slab now showed live footage of me standing there, staring at it. Behind me, in the feed, a figure stood deep in the shadows. I turned instantly, but nothing was there. On the morning of the third day, as predicted, alarms screamed through the ship. Hull integrity was failing. I ran to the control room, but every camera showed empty corridors. My crew was gone. Only their comm signals remained faint, scattered in every direction. The last thing I saw before losing consciousness was the box on the console. Its display showed a new entry. Dr. Ilara M. located, recovered, and placed into archive. I woke up here, surrounded by hundreds of identical boxes, each bearing a name I do not recognize. I am writing this now because I know the next entry is already being written. The chamber was silent, except for a faint hum that came from nowhere and everywhere at once. I stood among thousands of black boxes stacked in impossible formations, some forming walls, others floating in midair without support. Each box had a glowing slab on top, cycling through names and images. Some showed people in their homes, others aboard ships. Many displayed individuals frozen mid-motion, staring directly into the recording as if they knew they were being watched. I approached one labeled Captain Reese A. Classified. The slab showed a man screaming as an unseen force dragged him backward into utter darkness. Before the feed cut out, I saw something unnatural in the void. A shape outlined only by the absence of light, bending around him like liquid shadow. I began searching for my crew. Ryan's box stood near the center. His feed showed him in his suit, drifting among distant galaxies, unmoving. The readout in the corner displayed his heart rate, 0. The hum deepened. The stacks shifted, forming a clear path toward a far wall. Against every instinct, I followed. At the end stood a single towering slab unlike the others, tall enough to touch the ceiling, its surface a swirling void. It showed me, not as I was, but as I would be, older, hollow-eyed, standing in this same place, wearing the same expression of quiet horror. A voice spoke in my mind, neither male nor female, neither loud nor soft. It simply was. You are now part of the archive. You will remain until the sequence is complete. I demanded to know what the sequence meant. The voice didn't answer in words. Images filled my mind. The birth and death of stars, civilizations rising and falling, galaxies drifting into the cold dark. The archive collected every conscious being before the end of all light. Why me? Why my crew? I asked. Because you were between. The void slab rippled. I was pulled forward without resistance. I found myself back aboard our ship, floating in my cabin. At first, I thought it had been a hallucination, but the clock on my wall still read the exact moment it had frozen when we brought the box aboard. I ran to the control room. The crew was there, alive, working as if nothing had happened. They looked at me strangely, as though they didn't recognize me. When I asked about the black box, they said we had never found anything, that our scans in intergalactic space had been empty. I should have felt relief. Instead, I noticed something wrong. In the reflection of the control room window, my movements lagged by a fraction of a second. My reflection smiled when I did not. That night, I checked my personal log. A new entry was already there, in a font I didn't use. Elarum returned. Observing integration. I don't know how much of me is still here. I don't know if my crew sees me as I am, or as the archive has replaced me. But I do know this. One day, it will take them too. Because once you are between, it never lets go.